Welcome back to LabCyber. Now, in today's video, we're going to be talking about certifications and more specifically, the mistakes to avoid when acquiring certifications in cybersecurity. Now, in my 10 years plus as a cybersecurity instructor and consultant, I have seen so many people make the exact same mistakes over and over again. Now, I don't want you to waste your hard-earned money. I don't want you to waste your time like these other people. And that's why in today's video, I'm going to give you the 6 mistakes to avoid when acquiring certifications. Sounds good? Let's begin. All right, so the very first mistake to avoid, and this may seem rather obvious, but trust me when I say that a lot of people make this particular mistake, and that is not having a clear strategic plan when acquiring certifications. A lot of people make this mistake of just randomly acquiring certifications because they believe that, well, the more certifications I have, the more attractive I'm going to be to prospective employers. Now, theoretically, that might sound true. Obviously, a candidate with 10 certifications, oh, wow, he's got all this knowledge. That might seem impressive. But picture this, okay? You've got 2 candidates going for the exact same role, going for the exact same job. One of them only has 4 certifications, but those 4 certifications, they are all relevant to that particular role they're applying for, while you have a second candidate with 10 certifications, but only 2 of those certifications are relevant to the job. Guess who is going to get the job? All things being equal, it's going to be the first candidate whose 4 certifications are all relevant to that particular role. The point I'm trying to make here is this, okay? And I've noticed this with a lot of people, many of my students as well, right? See, they want to get into cybersecurity. They want to get a job in cybersecurity, but many times they don't know which particular field of cybersecurity they want to specialize in. That's perfectly fine. What I often recommend is this, okay? First of all, acquire your entry-level certification, get an entry-level job in cybersecurity, and then within a year or 2, you should be able to figure out which particular field of cybersecurity you want to specialize in. Maybe it's pen testing or ethical hacking or cloud security or governance, risk and compliance, you name it. But once you've figured out that, hey, this is a particular field within cybersecurity I want to specialize in, then you can begin to acquire certifications that are relevant to that particular field. Again, think quality over quantity. It's not about the number of certifications that you have. Rather, it's more about the number of relevant certifications that you have for the particular job that you're trying to apply for. So again, have a clear strategic plan. Don't just acquire certifications for the sake of increasing the number of certifications that you have. The second mistake to avoid is acquiring multiple entry-level certifications. This is a big one, okay? I've seen a lot of people make this exact same mistake as well. They acquire a whole bunch of entry-level certifications. Why? Because they're typically much cheaper than the more advanced certifications, and they're often a lot easier to acquire. The exams typically aren't that difficult. So they think that, well, you know what, I'm going to acquire 4 entry-level certifications in these different fields, and hopefully that will help me. That is a big mistake. Trust me when I say this, okay? You want to have only 1 entry-level certification. Every other certification you acquire after that entry level should be more advanced. Then, if you're wondering what is the entry level certification you should acquire, it's going to be CompTIA's Security Plus. I know there are a few YouTubers out there who are now saying, well, it's kind of outdated, it's no longer respected. That is simply false. The CompTIA Security Plus is still the gold standard for entry-level certifications in cybersecurity. So please, don't make this mistake of acquiring CompTIA Security Plus and then acquiring another entry-level certification from a different vendor. Acquire only 1 entry-level certification, and then every other certification after that should be more advanced. The third mistake to avoid, and this isn't exactly a mistake as such, it's more of a tip, okay? And the tip here is this. I want you to realize that there is a difference between going for the training for a certification and actually acquiring that certification. A lot of people don't seem to realize that just because you've taken the training for a particular kind of certification, it doesn't mean that you actually have to pay for the exam and then acquire that certification. Sometimes it's okay, it's perfect if you just have the training, but you don't have the certification. Now, what do I mean? I'm going to give you the best example for this. Okay, this would be the Network Plus by CompTIA. I very often recommend that, hey, if you want to go into cybersecurity, you should have a strong foundational knowledge in networking, because networking is so important wherever cybersecurity is concerned. And the best entry-level certification for networking is CompTIA's Network Plus. However, even though this certification, the training, will provide you with a very strong foundation, the certification itself isn't going to help you get a job. I'm telling you as it is. There isn't a single cybersecurity hiring manager or company out there who will hire you to become a cybersecurity professional just because you have the Network Plus. I guarantee you it's not going to happen. I would only recommend you acquire Network Plus if you want to go into networking as a profession. So the point I'm trying to make here once again is this, okay? It's perfectly fine for you to go for certain kinds of trainings for some certifications, because they'll give you the theoretical skills, they will give you the practical skills as well that you can apply in the real world, but you don't have to acquire the certification. Get the training, get the knowledge, and then you can apply that in the real world, but only acquire the certification if you know for a fact that it could help you get a job. So remember, you can go for the training, but you don't have to acquire the actual certification. The fourth mistake to avoid is going for vendor-specific certifications in the beginning. Now, what do I mean by this? See, when you're first starting out, or when you haven't quite figured out which particular field you want to specialize in, it's always best to first go for the vendor-neutral certifications. This way, you are basically saying, okay, I have the knowledge, I have the skills in general, okay, you can hire me anywhere. Only go for vendor-specific certifications when you are ready to specialize in that particular field or in that particular certification. It's not going to make any sense for you to just acquire, the Azuri certification and then think, oh, well, why isn't Cisco hiring me? Well, that's because you have a certification whose specialization is in a particular tool or vendor that isn't irrelevant to the one you're applying for. So in the beginning, go for vendor neutral. Later, when you're more advanced in your career, when you know that, okay, this is what I want to specialize in, then you can go for the vendor-specific certifications. The fifth mistake to avoid, and this may sound crazy, but trust me, the fifth mistake to avoid is acquiring the CISSP without the relevant years of experience. Now, I know that the CISSP is easily one of the most respected certifications in cybersecurity. If you have that certification, basically, you're like a boss, you're a top G, right? However, that certification requires that you also have the relevant number of years of experience to back it up. It's not going to make any sense if you have 2-3 years experience and then you have the CISSP. It's not going to match, because typically anyone with the CISSP is expected to have at least 5 years experience as a cybersecurity professional. So I have seen people in the beginning, they only have 1 or 2 years experience. They heard that, oh, the CISSP is such a respected certification, which it is, don't get me wrong, it is a highly, highly respected certification. And then they think, oh, well, if I go for the CISSP and I acquire it, I'm going to become a manager overnight. It's not going to happen. Go for the CISSP when you have 4 or 5 years experience and you're ready to take on more advanced managerial roles within cybersecurity. The exam is pretty difficult. It's also quite expensive. So please don't think that, you're just starting out in cybersecurity and if I get the CISSP, I'm going to become a manager overnight. It's not going to happen. acquire the relevant number of years of experience first, again 4 or 5, and then once you're ready, you can go for that particular certification. So the sixth and final mistake to avoid, not exactly a mistake as such, it's more like something people don't realize, and that is the fact that many of these certifications require maintenance costs. As an example, CompTIA's Security Plus, it expires every 3 years, and so you'll need to renew it. So a lot of people, they acquire these certifications without realizing that, oh, it's not going to be for a lifetime. These certifications do have a period in which they'll be active, but then eventually they'll become inactive, and you will need to keep that certification active. This typically would involve either paying a particular kind of subscription fee, or you could go for a certification that is a little bit higher. You get that certification, and then your lower certifications will automatically renew. However, keep in mind that this only works when it's from the same vendor. You can't try this if you have one certification from Microsoft and then the other one from CompTIA. It's not going to work. And then another way to keep your certifications active is through memberships as well. A lot of these vendors, they have memberships that you pay for, and your certifications will automatically be renewed as well. So please just keep this in mind, okay? These certifications, many of them have maintenance costs. So it could be a factor when you're trying to decide between 2 or more certifications that are equally attractive. You can factor in the maintenance costs involved with, maintaining these certifications, and then that could help you make a decision as to which certification you should go for. But that's it for today's video. I hope I've been able to give you some very relevant and practical tips on how to avoid making mistakes when going for your cybersecurity certifications. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you. Put them down in the comment section below. I respond to all comments. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, share the video with anyone who you feel might benefit from it. And if you're new here to the channel, by the way, my name is Alex. I make content around cybersecurity and AI. So if you do enjoy content like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel. You can also visit my platform, LabCyber.com. I provide a whole bunch of courses in cybersecurity and AI. So if you're interested in improving your skills, you can check out my platform. I'll have the link down in the box for you below. But that's it. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.